Hi, everybody. Joe. The question is, are you ready for me? By Kate Winslet.
Are we there yet?
And here's a brief introduction about our speaker, Kate Winslet. She was born in Reading, a small district in England. And I guess most of you know her because you've watched the movie in 1997 called Titanic. And she played Rose in that movie. And Titanic even got her nominated in Oscar for the Best Actress. And to date, she has 6 Oscar nominations and won Oscar Best Actress in 2009 for her movie that time called The Reader. In fact, she usually encourages people to be confident and accept their own selves, which is kind of related to her childhood experiences, but we'll talk about it later. Thanks. So, confidence. In her speech, she mentioned that she didn't have the perfect body and she would rarely hear anything positive. And she started to feel uncomfortable in her own skin. But this is the main part. At school, her teacher told her that she might be lucky in her acting if she was happy to settle for her factoral parts. These words came out from her teachers at school. So we can tell that there's an invisible standard in our society, no matter it's in that time or today. This invisible standard in the society often tells us that you have to be slim, skinny, or even have a good-shaped body to become an actor or an actress, acting in front of the camera. But it is just an invisible standard because there's no rules hanging on the walls to tell you that you have to match with all the standards of beauty to become an actor or an actress acting in front of the camera. No, there's no such rules, but that is just what people like to see. That is just our audiences like to see. So it forces that the companies in Hollywood just trying to find those handsome or pretty girls and boys to play their characters in the movies. That is just what our society is today. So this is a question that really deserves us to think about it. Should we really have to be that pretty to act in front of the camera? This is the question. And so, as I mentioned, Kate Winslet was cast in Titanic in 1997. And Titanic, in fact, was once the highest grossing films in the history. Despite that, it is beaten up by Avatar and Avengers Endgame these years. But we have to admit that Titanic is still one of the greatest movies ever made. And in 1997, a 23-year-old young lady, Kate Winslet, with big feet and not that perfect body that time, got cast and joined one of the greatest movie ever made in that time, directed by James Cameron, the director of Avatar. I guess it is just such a huge honor for a girl like her that time can got cast in these kind of movies. It's just such an honor to her. Right. So, lost in our phone. We always want to be a better person like others, pursuing their fancy lives. Kate Winslet, in her speech, she mentioned that, as she suggested that we should put down our phone to leave behind others' words that harms us. But I'm gonna just adjust that a little bit. I guess most of us here have Instagram, right? Including me. And I guess most of us like to follow the celebrities on Instagram, to follow their fancy lives. I mean, most of us, yes, including me. But sometimes, for me, when I saw the fancy posts that the celebrities post on their Instagram, we might feel a little bit sad or unsatisfied because we will think that we're not just as good as them. We don't have the fancy life as they do. So we might feel a little bit sad. Or even if we just follow people who have the same age as us, we sometimes, somehow, just feel a little bit unsatisfied about our lives. But why should we think that? Here's some example. When you open Instagram and you see some friends hanging out, having dinner together in a super expensive restaurant, or maybe just some friends hanging out together in a farther place and take this beautiful picture at the beach, or maybe just a normal friend posted a normal cup on Instagram. This somehow, sometimes, just made us feel a little bit sad and unsatisfied to think that we're not as good as them. Our lives are just not as exciting or interesting as them. This somehow happens to us at our age. But here's Kate Winslet said in her speech. I cut it out but she did say that in her speech. She said that maybe ask yourself, do you really need to be posting that photo of your lunch? Just enjoy eating it. So I guess, in my opinion, she's trying to tell that we don't have to pursue others' fancy lives. We don't have to let those expensive foods to define who we are. We don't have to post it on Instagram to prove that we are great or we have a great life. We should just enjoy eating it. So I guess she was just telling that we should not let the outside materials to define who we are. We should just be ourselves. And here, what she said in the speech. Let's stand in the way of letting it make us feel bad about ourselves. And if one day a person told you something that hurts you, some bad words, maybe I think we should just leave it behind, because those words do harm to you. But if someday a person gives you some good advices, some good words, maybe we can absorb it and keep it in mind, because those words are really beneficial to you and makes you a good person. So these are the difference. The bad words, we can just leave it behind, because we should be ourselves. We should love ourselves. And remember to embrace ourselves, accept ourselves, and love ourselves. There are 7.9 billion people on this planet, and you are one of the unique members. So no matter your gender, religion, nationality, race, or sexuality, we're all unique and shouldn't be beaten up by others' words. To remember, have faith and confidence. No matter you're dealing with the application for the college or moving on to the test in July, to always remember to try hard, be confident, and just do it. I guess that is Kate Winslet's trying to tell. That is what Kate Winslet is trying to tell us in that speech. Thank you.
So why did you choose this speech? Why?
When I first saw it on YouTube, and when I listened to her speech for the whole video, and I guess it's just very inspiring to me, because we all have some flaws, and we usually just think that we're not as good as others. So her story, her childhood stories, maybe can just inspire us in our daily lives.
Has anybody ever told you that you are a bad person, you are mean, you are bad in some way?
I guess
to make you feel like that?
In my childhood, those persons are not just that indirectly told me that about my bad things, but I can tell what they're feeling, but they just didn't say it, but I can tell what they're thinking about me. Yes.
Questions. Anyone? Have you ever watched Titanic? No. It's a wonderful movie. Yeah. And her newest film on HBO, Here on East Town. Anyone see it? Mayor on East Town. It's a great kids movie. for 2000 this year, 2021 on HBO. Wonderful. Featuring Kate Winslet. She's a middle-aged detective without any makeup, wrinkles, fat, and just do the police team in the movie, chasing after the murderer. It's great. You should watch it sometime. Okay? Great speech. Yeah.